Here we go. We are going to dive into Resident Evil 9, dude. We're going to take a look at this. So, guys, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let this trailer play out all the way through. This is a long trailer, 3 minutes and 39 seconds. To give you a little background on this, when this premiered the other day at Summer Game Fest, we were not told what this was until we realized what it was by the end of the trailer. So, the way they presented this was a complete surprise, and I'm so happy that they did it that way. How do I not have a like on this video? I'm subscribed to Resident Evil's channel. Let's watch this all the way through together, and then I'm gonna take you through it and give you my thoughts on what's going on. So here we go, guys. The Resident Evil 9 trailer. The game is called Requiem. So let's do this all the way through. I'm gonna shrink me.
Sir.
It should be good on sound. This is the fourth time today you're watching it? Nice. And I'm going to give you guys a little backstory on who this character is and all that.
Grace! Grace Ashcroft.
Yes?
Grace Ashcroft.
My office.
Oh, coming.
Looks like a movie.
If this is about the report you asked for yesterday, it'll be ready in 3. No, 2 days, tops.
Put a hold on that for now. We found another body. One that
Oh,
exhibits
boy.
the same pathology as the others we've been investigating. Now, I need a good technical analyst on this.
Okay.
I need your eyes on the crime scene.
These character
The
models.
Redwood Hotel. I know that's where your mother was murdered. Alyssa died 8 years ago.
Alyssa
Perhaps it's
Ashcroft.
time for you to face the past.
Oh,
Grace.
here we go. These graphics are insane. Slash. Oh my
Stay
God.
close.
That's very RE7.
They're coming. I know now that you're the one that I've been searching for. The special one. The chosen one. Miss Ashcroft.
This was the
All
moment.
these strange deaths, huh?
We need to keep our voices down.
Have you seen the same shit I've seen?
Please know that you are my hope.
Everyone's gone.
RPD, baby. Raccoon City. After the bomb. Look at the queue. Guys. Okay. February 27th, 2026, Resident Evil 9. I realized what I was looking at when they showed the crater. From what the creators have been saying so far, they're taking the series into what they call a bold new direction, bringing it back also into real survival horror, and really trying to advance like what the main way you play these games are, right? We're supposed to be getting a bit of a new experience. And there were a lot of rumors that went around that seem to have now been debunked. So I don't know what to really expect from this. Yeah, the creator, this is, oh my God, this is all, like, we know this is, after everything. This is after Raccoon City was destroyed. But, and we're going to point this out as we go through. So let me go back to the beginning here. Can I? Yeah, let's full screen this. So, all right. First thing to note here is that we're with the FBI. This is one of the FBI buildings here. I can't tell from the sign. It's the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I don't know where they are, though. I can't make it out. It's like blocked by grass here and everything. So I don't know where they are. Where they're located in the world. But we know we're dealing with the FBI. Now, here's where things get interesting and where I'm a little confused about the direction we're going in. So, I'm going to pause it here in a second. Oh, this is, let me see here. So, this is the thing she's working on here. So their case they're working on, a summary of the incident. A deceased individual was discovered at an abandoned government office. Preliminary analysis suggests the deceased may be linked to a series of, and they're talking about a series of deaths and murders. But here's the thing about that. Let me bring it back for a second. The body was found at an abandoned government office. So two things come to mind. One, why is it abandoned? And two, where is that abandoned office located? Well, after seeing the full trailer and seeing that we are going to the remains of Raccoon City, this guy had to have been found in Raccoon City. Now, here's the other thing, and we'll get deeper into that as we get to the crater. But so we're at the FBI. And now we're here with who's named Grace Ashcroft. Now, there's a couple things I want to point out here. Grace Ashcroft is the daughter of a pre-existing character in the Resident Evil universe, Alyssa Ashcroft. She was a playable character Alyssa was a playable character in Resident Evil Outbreak. She was a reporter, and there were multiple characters you could choose from in Outbreak. This was a PS2 game that took advantage of the Ethernet adapter and let you go online and play with people online. There was no voice chat or anything. It was all like pre-done emotes and commands you could do to try to communicate with each other. But it was in the Resident Evil universe. It took place during RE2 and RE3, but this was from the point of view of different civilians and one police officer that live in the city. So we're getting a different point of view and a different story that was happening at the same time as the events of Resident Evil 2 and 3. Now, in that, one of the characters is Alyssa Ashcroft, and she's a reporter investigating all the strange murders and the crazy occurrences that are happening throughout Raccoon City and the surrounding Arklay Mountain area. But there's no mention of her having a daughter, at least that I remember in those games. So Grace Ashcroft is a brand new character. But here's the thing. I want you guys to take a look at, especially if you're familiar with Resident Evil 8 with Village, most specifically the DLC that came out for Village, which jumps 16 years and you play as Rose, the daughter of Mia and Ethan Winters. I want you guys to take a look here at Grace. Now, I have a theory, and I could be completely wrong about this, but let me get to a good shot of Grace here.
Grace Ashcroft.
Okay. Here's Grace Ashcroft. Notice the very, very light, practically white hair. Look at the color of her eyes. Look at the shape of her face. And I want to show you guys something here. We're going to open another tab, and we're going to do Rose Winters Resident Evil. Let's go to images. And, well, can I see that pic? Can you see that bigger? I want to get a good image. They look so much alike. This is Rose at 16. And here's Grace. Now, the resemblance is just insane. Like, 16-year-old Rose. Couldn't this be Rose a little older? You know, some years later? The reason I'm like kind of like going in on this is that the initial thing we heard that 9 would be the finale to the Winters family story. The RE7 was focused on Mia being captured by the Baker family and then being changed by Evelyn and becoming a thing, and then you play as Ethan trying to save her. And then so that was considered the mother's story. And then Village was the father's story, and he's trying to save Rose, who was a baby at the time. And then we got the DLC for Village, which jumps 16 years, and you play as 16-year-old Rose Winters, who has abilities and everything because of what happened to her as a baby and everything like that. And you play as Rose, looking like this. She's even wearing Ethan's jacket in the game. But I see, you see this look in the game. This is a little more stylized picture. Her hair looks a lot more white when you see her in the game. But she has those very, very light eyes. They're almost gray. And then we get to who's being called Grace Ashcroft, and referencing saying her mother is Alyssa. But the resemblance to Rose is insane. So here's my theory. I think this actually is Rose. And I think there's going to be a twist in the game. Now, if that's the case, if this is Rose Winters, why is the identity of Grace Ashcroft being used? Because that's referencing, and they even say her mother is Alyssa. So there could be a potential twist there that I'm thinking might be the direction it goes. Jeff says, I never played Outbreak back in the day, definitely ahead of its time, and I really hope bringing Ashcroft back into the spotlight that we might get an online Outbreak game. I hope so too, because if this truly is about Alyssa and Grace Ashcroft, this could have been a choice by Capcom and everything to, rather than doing an Outbreak remake, they're doing an Outbreak sequel. I could be completely wrong. Okay, so here's a good point. So Rose was born in 2021 or so, and then we see her next 16 years later in 2037, roughly. RE9 is set either present or 2028. Is that verified? Still similar, but aging would be more apparent, I think, in either. Is this verified to be set in 2028? I haven't seen anything saying when this takes place, or at least anything confirmed of when it takes place. Let me see if I can find it. When does RE9 take place? This is just the AI, but Resident Evil 9, officially titled Resident Evil Requiem, is set in 2026. This is continuation to the Resident Evil timeline, with the events of RE9 happening after Resident Evil Village. The game is also rumored to feature Leon Kennedy. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. It can make sense. So then, if this is true, and I don't know where the Google AI is getting the information, this may just be speculation, in all honesty, because this could just be based on whatever it's finding. Not verified, but I keep hearing speculation online that it'll be around 2028 to coincide with the 30-year destruction of Raccoon City. Gotcha. So this could be potentially accurate. Like, I would love to see... So look at this stuff going back to 2021, talking about it. Game radar. I just want to know if there's something that confirms when it takes place. And I'm not seeing anything from Resident Evil's official sites. There are Resident Evil sites where all the information will be. What year does RE9 take place? This is completely wrong. This is saying it will take place in 2006, 2007. That's completely wrong. So we're still not entirely sure where this is going to take place until Capcom reveals the official word on where it takes place, which they may not reveal at all, because depending on what they're doing with the story, it might be jumping around a little bit. We're not entirely sure. But this could be a couple of things. If this truly is Grace Ashcroft, who was not a pre-existing character, Alyssa is. Alyssa Ashcroft is from Resident Evil Outbreak. And we do find out her fate in this, that apparently she was murdered 8 years before whatever year this is and when this is taking place. So let's move forward just a little bit further here.
Yes?
In the trailer.
My office.
This gentleman here, her boss, new character altogether as far as I can tell as well. We didn't catch a name for him either. So this is just, it seems to be just for her boss, but she's clearly working on an investigation involving strange murders going on. And he's saying she's an analyst.
As the others we've been investigating.
So,
On this.
yes, we need a top analyst on this. So, if she is the main playable character, which other rumors are out there saying that there are multiple playable characters in this. So she could be one of two, she could be one of many. She's an analyst for the FBI. So with that said, what kind of training does she have? She seems very nervous here. So I don't know what kind of combat training she would have, if any at all. I would almost kind of think working for the FBI, there would probably be some form of maybe weapons training or anything like that, or maybe close combat training, something. But being an analyst, I don't know what she would have, if any, with any training there. So then, if we are playing as her in a survival horror game, if she is untrained, weapons could be very limited. If we think about that, you could end up using primarily a knife and maybe no guns at all. I have no idea. But they are going back to being truly survival horror, which means whatever you have, it's going to be limited. And that's the whole idea, because you have to, in a Resident Evil game, you got to take care of your inventory and you got to try to survive with what you have at any given point. So it could be definitely crazy. You have a really good theory, though. I like your line of thinking. I think it's possible, but it all comes down to when this takes place. I got to get used to the character names as well. I haven't thought about Alyssa Ashcroft since RE7, actually. Fun fact, Resident Evil 7, when you're looking for files and stuff, you find an article written by Alyssa Ashcroft. It was a beautiful throwback to Outbreak in Resident Evil 7. But other than that, I don't remember her being referenced in anything else. But we do see an article written by her because she was a reporter. But now her daughter, Grace, works for the FBI. And this is 8 years after Alyssa was apparently murdered, according to this trailer. Where that 8 years is, I don't know. All we know for sure is that this is well after Raccoon City being destroyed. Now, I want to jump here to these flashes.
Oh, that's where your mother was murdered.
Let me see if I can get a stop. There's Alyssa. There's a shot of Alyssa right there. I want to get, you could see her in like her iconic red jacket. Here we go. It's blurry with the effect here, but this is Alyssa Ashcroft that you play as or one of the playable characters from Outbreak, and it's cool. She's got the flashlight and everything there, just like in the game. And she was apparently murdered in a hotel. I'm assuming the hotel was somewhere near here, I guess, but she's getting like flashes. So I don't know if this meant to, like, was she with her when that happened? Or are these images of Alyssa just there for effect? Here's our other new character. Now, there are rumors floating around, but this hooded figure, what this trailer leads you to believe is that this is potentially Alyssa's murderer. This is potentially who killed Alyssa. There are rumors flying around out there right now that I don't know what the basis is behind the rumors. The biggest one floating around is that this is one of the Wesker children. Now, Albert Wesker was our main, turned out to be our main bad guy in RE1. He turned on the STARS team, and then he's a big problem for Chris later on in Code Veronica, and then eventually in RE5. Albert Wesker was part of an experiment, and there were multiple Wesker children as part of this, and Albert was one of them. But there are other Weskers, different first names, that were part of that experiment. One of the rumors is this is one of the Wesker children, which could very well be the case if they want to bring it back into that territory. It's something that was kind of gone through a bit in RE5, tackled again in RE6. I don't know if they are truly going to jump back or would jump back into that storyline of the whole Wesker experiment and all that stuff. Maybe it is going to be the big throwback, especially this will be the 30th anniversary of the game. So I wonder if they will take that route or if this will be a brand new character. But the rumors really are surrounding it being a returning character in some form. But this hooded character, I believe this is Alyssa's murderer, and I'm sure we'll find out the identity of them. Oh my god, those jumps.
Face the past.
Those jumps get crazy. And then, okay,
Grace.
there's this moment here. Oh, go back to it.
Face the past.
Look at it. I don't know if that's Raccoon City there. We're in some sort of potentially a hotel room. Where is it? Right here. Okay. There are 3 people here hovering over someone with a bright light behind them, potentially in a hospital maybe? Or a lab? I feel like these are either doctors or scientists that are doing something to somebody, potentially to Grace. So I'm not sure who these 3 figures are right here. We start to see the iconic eye-opening moment. Resident Evil, one of the most iconic things in it is that close-up shot of an eye. That goes all the way back to the original game, and they have kept that going as a pretty big theme in all the Resident Evil games. So I love that they did that. But then we get Grace here, hanging upside down, strapped to a table, and I mean, the detail in this character model is just absolutely stunning. But look at this as it zooms out. She's got this... Does my mouse appear on the screen? Yes, it does. She's hurt right here. Bandaged up. So something happened to her right here on her chest. And right before that, we saw those like 3 figures hovering over with a bright light, as if on a hospital bed or potentially in a lab. So I think whoever those 3 figures are, they were working on Grace, and they did something to her here because she was clearly opened up, and now she's held captive. So whatever they did, it could have been potential experiments. We're not sure. We'll definitely find out. But something happened to Grace with whoever those guys were. Now, then we get to this new villain, or what appears to be a villain, and listen to what he says. Oh god, this shot right here, though. Oh, this, I believe, is going to be potentially in that hotel they talked about, and things are all kind of messed up. This maybe portions of this building, if it was in Raccoon City, is still standing. We saw, and we'll see it in a minute, a bunch of structures are still standing, and I have a thing to say about that too, because you may be asking, how the heck could any of those buildings be standing? after the town was nuked. But there's things. There's things to talk about there.
Stay close.
What are you saying? Stay close? Let me throw the subtitles on.
They're coming.
Who's coming? This.
Now that you're the one that I've been searching for. The special one. The chosen one.
Okay. Okay. First off, I love the guy's voice. The guy's voice sounds very menacing. It's awesome. I now know you're the one I've been searching for. A special one. The chosen one. This here. This dialogue right here being spoken by what appears, I think this is the hooded guy. He just has his hood down there. Kind of looks like he's Loki or something right there. Him saying, you're the one I've been searching for, the special one, the chosen one, is also what is fueling my theory that that is not actually Grace. That is Rose Winters. I think if this game takes place around the time or after the DLC of RE8, then I think that's Rose taking on a different identity. And that could be the government gave her that identity. And maybe somehow Alyssa Ashcroft ended up taking care of her at some point. Maybe Mia died. Maybe so. I don't know. There's a lot of different possibilities that could be going on. But if it is Rose, Rose has powers. She has abilities. And this guy searching for the special one, the chosen one, he could very well be referring to Rose. Now, that said, if this does not take place after RE8, or no, I'm sorry, if this does not take place after the DLC of RE8, which jumped 16 years, then who is the chosen one he's referring to? And why? Now we're in a whole point, because now we've got, if this takes place shortly after Resident Evil 8, then we're working within a time frame of 16 years that we could mess around with. So, if this is not Rose, then I really don't know which direction we're going in here. But this line right here, the chosen one, that's what's really fueling, not looks aside, like just Grace looks just like Rose. So I just, I don't know. It's hard for me to believe that that's not Rose, but until Capcom officially says that ain't Rose, then we'll know. We'll know once the time frame is revealed. When we know the year this game takes place in, that's when we'll know for sure who she actually is. So moving forward just a little bit further here.
Miss Ashcroft.
Yeah, he calls her Miss Ashcroft. Okay. This was the moment, everybody. Because the name Ashcroft, I knew, and I didn't catch the first time when I watching Summerfest. I didn't catch that they said Alyssa. So I missed that. And the thing I was going like Ashcroft, that sounds really familiar. I know there was the Ashford families in Code Veronica, but it wasn't Ashcroft. But I knew the name, and I missed that they said Alyssa. If I would have caught that the first time and they said and I put it together, I would have known right away. It was Resident Evil 9. This was the moment when I saw this shot. It all clicked for me, and my head exploded, and this is when I knew, oh my god, I'm witnessing the trailer for Resident Evil 9.
Investigating all these strange deaths, huh?
We need to keep our voices down.
Have you seen the same shit I've seen?
Okay, I want to go back to those voices.
We need to keep our voices down.
Have you seen?
Okay. Hold on, come back.
Miss Ashcroft.
Investigating all these strange deaths, huh?
We need to keep our voices down.
Okay. I don't know who these two people are talking. The lady who said we need to keep our voices down sounds like the voice actress that played Marlena in The Last of Us, and it might be. This next voice, listen to this.
Have you seen the same shit I've seen?
Let's play it again.
Have you seen the same shit I've seen?
Okay. There are rumors that the guy that says that is potentially either Chris Redfield or Carlos from Resident Evil 3. And that's because the voice actor who did Carlos for Resident Evil 3 also played Chris Redfield in Resident Evil 8.
Shit I've seen.
But
Keep our voices down.
Have you seen the same shit I've seen?
the way he says that, he sounds more like Carlos to me. So thinking of that, I'm like, I definitely want to get some original characters coming in, but I think that would be amazing if Carlos made a comeback. You know, characters that we've only seen once. Like, you know what I would love to see, and this would be like a dream come true? Billy from Resident Evil 0. Where the hell did that guy go? He was one and done. That was it. Resident Evil 0, and then never to be seen or heard from again. Ever. Could you imagine Billy Cohen making an appearance in Resident Evil 9? But this voice right here, it sounds like Carlos to me.
We need to keep our voices down.
Have you seen the same shit I've seen?
It sounds like Carlos. But this, oh my God, these shots, that's the RPD right there. And then you got the tower and everything there. All the positioning of the cars, the buses, they're in the right spots, everybody.
That you are my hope.
Everyone's gone.
This, oh my God. Oh my God. This shot, my God, it's giving me like chills just looking. I've looked at this so many times now. The broken down after the bombing RPD, the Raccoon Police Department. The D fell off. I didn't even notice it until earlier today. It's right behind the subtitles. The D's right here on the ground. The RPD D fell down. So, and all the broken down cars, they're all in the right position. So, obviously, the building is just like busted up, right? But why are these buildings, and let's go back a little further. Why is this much of the city still standing? Now, we were led to believe, and let's just talk about as if we were within the game's universe, the people of the world within the Resident Evil universe were led to believe that Raccoon City was quite literally wiped off the map. We assumed it was a nuke that hit the city. But what it appears to have been is some other type of bomb, not as completely devastating as a nuclear bomb would have been, but it did its job to have the impact, wipe out what it needed to wipe out. But the thing to keep in mind here is that Raccoon City was pretty much run by the Umbrella Corporation. And the whole city was basically their lab. Like that, it was their laboratory. The whole underground section, like, look, you see how deep the crater goes, right? But we have so much of the city still standing. What happened underground? The Nest facility. Their main lab is under there. Is it still intact? Is it still in use? Look how much of the city is still standing. If any form of umbrella is still going, as far as the world was concerned, Raccoon City is gone, and people don't go there because radiation or whatever story is being told to people aren't going here. But they talked about people being found in an abandoned government building, which could very well have been here at the remains of Raccoon City. And look, I can't get over the fact of how much of the city is still standing. Whether or not the lab underneath it is still there is going to be huge. And I hope we find out the answer to that. we're definitely going back to Raccoon City though. And if we get to explore any of this city
Please know that you
in
are my
its
hope.
condition,
Everyone's gone.
could you imagine going back and going through any parts that are still standing of the RPD? Like, I'm going to know exactly where to go. You know? Like, I know the RPD. I know the layout. But to go through it in a destructed form, it's like, where will it cut you off? Where will we be limited to? We have to be able to go inside there and go down maybe to the parking structure and everything like that. Just that we have to tease this. We got to be doing that. It would just be incredible. I wonder how many G monsters are still kicking around in whatever is left of the sewer system, right? Anything that was underground could still be there. So there's so much potential here. I can't wait. I can't wait to see where we go. Look at this shot with the statue that was out in the lobby, the opening area of the RPD. And then look off to this side over here. All of this is, so much of that is still standing. Can we go up these stairs? Can we get over here? Can we go through there? Right near this statue. And this is going to be based off of the remake that's the continuing versions, right, of these stories. So right under here is where we put those 3 medallions to open a secret entrance that went underground to where, like, Chief Iron's secret office was. We fought William Birkin for the first time down there. That's all under this. Can we get down there? It's just so much potential. And then we got... let me throw the subtitles back on for him.
Stay away from that!
Okay, I couldn't tell. I think it was like he was trying to say her. So much going on here. So much going on here. We're going to freeze.
Stay away from that!
Okay, no idea who this guy is, but clearly he's dying right there, so this guy ain't going to last long. It sounds like he's trying to say stay away from her, but it's hard to tell. And then we've got... I want to try to catch these. Okay, now we're in a creepy hallway. Looks very much like Resident Evil 7. We got a thing coming down from the ceiling. I think this is in the hotel that they were talking about. But, dear Lord, look at this thing. So, this thing has got a long, creepy body, long, creepy fingers. Strange shape here coming from the neck to the head. There's definitely like long hair. I don't know if this is its body or they're wearing like a dress or something. But really creepy creature. But something I did notice is that, look at this. They were wearing shackles. That's a cuff right there, and there's the broken chain hanging off of it. So this thing was handcuffed to something. And now it's out. Let's see if we can get a little bit. Okay. Here is the hooded figure choking out somebody with a plastic bag. This is the most we could see of their face. And it's, very blurry because there was a lot of motion going on here. But from this, I can't tell if this is a pre-existing character or not. Is this one of the Weskers? Is this anything else? Oh my god, he says Lisa Trevor growing up. Oh my god, that would be absolutely terrifying. Could you imagine if it was Lisa? Oh my god. Oh my god. Hold on a second. I never even considered that. Where's that shot? Where's that shot? Oh my god, dude, because she has the shackles on her. Hold on. Hold on a second. Jeff, you're breaking my brain. You're breaking my brain. Hold on a second. Okay. It's not really... There's chains on her feet. I want to... Here we go. There's chains on her feet. But she had this, like... this wooden piece on her arms. She's got, like, kind of creepy... Oh, man. Because she was, like, unkillable. Let me go back to that screen. That's definitely on her wrists. I'm saying her. This seems like a female character here. The proportions are way off compared to the first time we saw her, but the shackle and the appearance made me think of Trevor only after watching the trailer a few times. Yeah, it's... could be a similar experiment? Because what if... So, you know, the last we saw of Lisa Trevor, we were dealing with her right by the tomb of her mother, and then we open the tomb to distract her, and she takes her mother's skull and jumps off the cliff. And that's the last we saw her. We have no idea how deep that fall was, but all we know for sure is that Lisa was pretty much indestructible. There was nothing we could do to kill her. And if this building, if this hotel or whatever this is in Raccoon City, I mean, she was there underneath the mansion in the Arkley Woods, just outside of the city. Oh my God, could you imagine? And then if Umbrella got their hands on her again and then continued experimentation, and then that's why there's shackles on her wrists. Could you imagine that was the connection? Oh my God. Dude, man, okay. All right. Let's go. If that ends up being the case, and this is Lisa all these years later, I'm for it. Oh my God. Now I want this to be Lisa. Oh my God. It's insane. Okay. All right. moving forward here a little bit, because we're going to wrap up shortly, but we've got the guy choking people out, and then we've got this. It looks like, I think this is a police officer, or at least maybe a security guard, clearly turning. This dude is turning into a zombie right in front of us. And my God, the detail on the character model is just great. But yeah, this is clearly either a police officer or a security guard. Where they are, we have no idea, and what happened, you know, why this is happening to him, we don't know. I don't see any injuries on him other than the bloody nose happening. So I don't know if this was from a bite, was something airborne, was something in the water, was he injected with something? We have no idea. We don't know what type of the virus we're dealing with, what form of the T virus or G virus or whatever one we're working with. We're not sure what we're going to be dealing with at this point. Then we get into this clearly up and running building. I don't know where this is, but we have this lady walking this way. Now, I don't know what it is about her. We never see her face, but proportions-wise and the type of clothes she's wearing and the way she walks, she looks like Mia to me. She looks like Mia Winters. So, I don't know what it is, but watching her right there and the way she walks, the type of shoes she's wearing and the type of clothes she's wearing, this looks like it could be Mia. So, I don't know if we are truly done with the Winters family. And depending on, again, what year this takes place in, whether or not it's before or after the DLC of Village, That's what's going to determine which characters we potentially can see in this. Or it's nothing but all new characters. We don't know yet. We are so early on, and this is coming in February, the end of February, 2026. So my thought is that's possibly Mia Winters right there. And then we've got... Oh my god, the rattling. Hold on, because that's that thing that climbed down from the ceiling. Can I get... Oh my god. Jeez. That's like, remember when Lisa Trevor would be near, you'd hear the rattling of all that stuff attached. I'm trying to see if there's how much of the face we can see. Can I slow this down? Oh my god. Is this Lisa? Lisa, is that you? Mia, that would be cool. She worked for Umbrella or some similar company. She was part of what the heck were they called? The Connection? Were they called The Connection? It wasn't Umbrella. It was I'm trying to remember the files in 7 and 8. I think it was called The Connection. The group that was working on The Mold and Evelyn and their crew was on that ship in Resident Evil 7 when they got stranded after Evelyn went nuts, and then Evie caused all that stuff with the Baker family and everything. So oh my god, so then what if it's that group and then they take over? Because then, like, Umbrella sort of became, if you remember the end of Resident Evil 7 when Chris shows up and then we get the DLC where you play as Chris, it became a different form of Umbrella where it was like, now they're good. Like, it was like the bad people were taken out and now they kind of rebranded Umbrella. And they took away, like, they changed the logo. It was like a shield now, and it had like the similar to the Umbrella logo, but now it was blue instead of red. But the group that Mia worked for, I think they were called The Connection. Oh man, I'm gonna be going way more into like the Resident Evil stuff as we lead up to this game. We're gonna really go deep into it. Blue Umbrella, yeah, that's what. Yeah, I don't think it's Tricell. Tricell was the group, the opposing group in RE5, and then even in the CG animated films, the one in the airport, we learn about Tricell. What a smile. Oh my goodness. Resident Evil Requiem is coming out in February 27th of 2026. I can't wait. I can't wait.